All right, y'all. It is time to shine. It is time to shine. King Jules, Julian Smartrimple here. We are locked and loaded, ready to go for another very special episode of the Run the Jewelz show and podcast series. I'm your host again, Julian Smartrimple. Welcome our fellow shining jewels to the RTJ show experience. Stay locked and loaded and stay ready to ride this wave with us this season for season 4. Shout out to all of those who have been tracking with us over the last 3 seasons. You're definitely in for a treat to be blessed again by one of my very special VIP guests that are coming on the show this evening, you all. And so hopefully everyone's having a great week, but we're going to be definitely hitting you with a ton of jewels going into the new month. And so shout out to all of those who are celebrating not just Black history, but all 365 days a year Black history. And so we're going to definitely bring our special guests on in one quick second, but share this content with someone you know that may be able to benefit from it. Like and also subscribe to us on all of our podcasts, listening platforms that you listen to your favorite podcasts or your streaming music. Just search for the Run the Jewelz podcast and you'll see my image along with the Run the Jewelz podcast that you can subscribe to. We just released a new episode every Tuesday. We're releasing new episodes. And so definitely go and subscribe and catch up on our episodes from season 1, you all. We're going all the way from season 1 into now season 4. So you can go and look at our progress, look at our journey throughout the last few seasons in order to find out more about the RTJ show. But definitely for those who are just joining us for the first time, the RTJ lifestyle show was created again to spread inspiration to young professionals and also entrepreneurs who are wanting to share their wisdom and also who are wanting to learn from other entrepreneurs and young professionals on how to shine brighter in their careers or their businesses. And so the RTJ lifestyle show is for you, whether you are a millennial or not, whether you are a young professional or not. The RTJ show has more than enough jewels to share from people that look like myself, that look like you, and that also are not afraid to shine bright like the bright diamond jewel they've been created to be. And so I know we're going to keep this show moving forward. You all, thank you again for tuning in for episode 190. I believe that we're on. We already 190 episodes in, you all. And so I'm excited to bring on one of my very special guests. He's actually a young brother of mine, a young king that I'm mentoring and also coaching up because he has a lot of talent, you all. I met this young king through Big Brother, Big Sisters here in Atlanta. Shout out to Big Brother, Big Sisters and all of the mentoring programs that are mentoring and also leading our youth. But I met this young king, I believe, at the age of either 13 or 14, but he's grown into a young king and a young man now, and he's going to be talking to us about the process of being in teenage years and coming into manhood, you all. He's going to be talking about how our teens are dealing with being a Christian in modern day America in 2022. We're going to be definitely hearing from him, speaking about his perspective on how he is able to stay a Christian man, a Christian teen in this modern day America. And so I'm excited, you all. If you have children, if you are a parent, especially that is leading a teen right now or that is parenting a teen right now, you're going to be in for a treat this evening with my very special guest. King Dominic Bessant is who I'm about to bring to the stage right now so that you all can meet my little brother, the guest for this evening, coming back for round 2. He's already been on the show previously last season, but he did so well. I told him he made me proud. And so he has to come back for a second round with us. And so without further ado, I want to introduce you to Mr. Dominic Bessant. Dom, how you doing, King?
Hey, Julian. I am so excited to be on the Run the Jewelz Show.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you coming on again to Run the Jewelz with us this evening, King. But for those who may have missed your previous episode, tell us a little bit about your background, Dom, where you were originally born at, how old you are, and also why this is an important subject for you to talk to our audience about.
Well, I was actually born here in Atlanta. I was raised in Atlanta, and I'm 14 years old. And as of 14 years old, I have a lot to look up to, or look forward to, as I should say. And there's a lot of things that I have to prepare for, and that's why I believe that this episode is very important, especially for me, as much as it is for all the other young professionals that are watching this podcast. Um, Basically, I want to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about what it means to be a man before we could talk about what it means to be a teen, because I actually think that it's important that we talk about manhood before we talk about teenhood. I really hope that that's a word. Um, what it means to be a man. I think what it means to be a man is you not only have to be strong physically, but you also have to be strong spiritually. And I'm not just, and what I mean by that is that I'm, you have to have a soul that is connected to God, because that is the only way your soul can be as strong as possible when it's connected to God. Um, and I believe that that is very important because with a strong soul, you can accomplish anything, because your soul is kind of like the things that make you who you are. There it's like what represents your personality, how you feel, how you think. And without a soul, then, well, or let's just say that that's very unfortunate. And basically, a man needs to be connected to God. And in order to do that, he doesn't just need to read the Bible every day or go to church on Sundays and stuff like that. While that's very important, I believe that there are at least one more step that you need to take in order to be truly connected to God, and that's through prayer. Prayer is basically FaceTiming God. When you pray, you are basically having this instant wireless connection to God, and you are able to basically ask Him any question that you need answering. Like if you have problems with your relationships, God has the answer. If you having problems with your work life, God has the answer. If you're dealing with things like substances, like alcohol and drugs, God has a way to help you get off that stuff. Um, and that is why I believe being connected to God is the most important thing of being a man. Now, a man also has to be able to, live for himself. He also has to cook his own meals and cleaned up after himself. That's all things that is necessary. But in order to truly be a man, you have to be connected to God, and that is how I will segue us to being a teen. So what does it mean to be a teen? Well, once you have passed your adolescence years, you become a teenager or a young adult. And I think that these are your most important years. Like, you cannot miss the opportunity of being a teen, because that is how you build your manhood. And that is also how you build your connection to God. So, what every teen needs to do is every night before they go to bed, they need to. I know I'm going to sound like you're a mom for saying this, but every night before they go to bed, they need to pray to God about anything, like literally anything. Like pray to God about, you know, whether or not you're going to get McDonald's the next day, or praying to God about whether or not you're going to be able to pet the dog across the street. Just pray to God about whatever you feel like praying to Him about, but make sure that you always do it at night. That is how you can truly build that connection to God, so that when you become a man, um, you already have the foundation for a strong Christian connection.
Stay right there. Stay right there, King. Not to cut you off. We definitely going to be diving deep into that connection. I see you already bringing that heat. Dom is already keeping it lit for the beginning of the interview this evening. For those who are just tuning in, we're here with my special guest, Mr. Dominic Bessant. He's actually one of my young kings and also young mentees that's going to be teaching you all on the subject. What is it to be a teen, a Christian teen in a modern day America today? And so you're going to be hearing from Dom's perspective on what it means to be a teen Christian that is a Black king in modern day America. And so shout out to those who are already tuning in with us. Shout out to Auntie Carol. Shout out to Delta. And shout out to all of us who are listening, catching the replay on the podcast. But Dom, stay with that connection point, because a lot of teens that are growing up, especially now in what we consider modern day America today, they are not connected to a church. They are not connected to having, let's say, mentors or coaches that are Christian or that are of the followers of Yahshua HaMashiach, that are followers of Christ and of God. And so, like, talk to us. Why do you think a lot of teens are struggling nowadays with their own personal connection to God, let alone believing in God? Like, what do you think are some of the barriers that are causing teens not to believe in God or even believe in Christ?
I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist for saying that, but it's one word: the media. Well, that was two words, but basically, I believe that the media have been teaching the younger kids that. I mean, I don't want to get too in detail with this, but I believe that they've been teaching younger kids to do the wrong things. Like, there are many TV shows out there that like glorify crime, and for me personally, while that's fine, I don't really care. Um, it's when they direct those criminal activities towards the younger audience that I'm like, wait, hold up, this is a little bit weird, ain't it? And um, and I also believe that rom-coms are also giving our kids skewed skewed perceptions of romance. because in these romance, or at least the romance comedies, the bad ones, your Afters and your Twilights and stuff like that, they they show people, they show two characters who instantly fall in love with each other. I do mean instantly, like there is little to no build up to their relationship. They just like that instantly. Um, and I don't believe that is very realistic, because in any relationship, you should always have to build up to that relationship, and that goes for any show with any romance subplot. I believe that if they just show the characters instantly being falling in love with each other, that's not very realistic. Well, it is realistic to find interest in the person very quickly. It is not realistic to just immediately fall in love with them instantly. Um, and it's things like this that I believe is giving our children a less connection to Christ. And I just want to say right here, if you're interested in these type of shows and movies, this is not a personal attack or anything. I'm just saying that the movies and TV themselves aren't very aren't very you know they're less than helpful, basically.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you right there, King. And that's a great perspective to have, especially with the way media controls a majority of us here in America and even across the world, because we know how the media is literally pushing different agendas throughout the year into our psyches, which ultimately affect our faith and also affect our lifestyle. And so, for those who are just tuning in, if you have any questions for my very special guest, Dominic Bessant, feel free to list it in the comment section, and we'll get Dom to answer any question you may have on teens in America today, and finding out what his perspective is on what is it to be a Black Christian teen in America. And so, Dom, I know we definitely wanted to dive into similar to what you and we've talked about before. What are your thoughts on the gender crisis? With you already know that there are many different pronouns that the teens and also the adults and the college students, the young adults are using nowadays. And so, we don't shy away from controversial topics on the RTJ show, but because your generation that is still in school are having to live out these different pronouns and these different gender names that are being basically conveyed to you all. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with them? Are your thoughts anti the different pronouns or the different genders that are being released? What say you, Dom? What are your thoughts on this?
I just want to say again that to anyone that have these different pronouns and stuff, again, this is not an attack towards you. I'm not trying to get into any social media wars. My YouTube account doesn't even have subscribers yet. Like, I am not prepared to for any social media wars, but I have to say that I am very against that. And it is a very simple reason. It's not Christian. Um, God, God created two genders. That's it. There are no more than two, no less than two, just two. If you are one of those genders, then you are one of those genders. And no amount of these surgeries and um, genetic stuff where they mess with your genetics so you can be more of the gender that you want to be. None of that would change the fact that you were born a boy or a girl. And I just it just kind of not it just kind of makes me think, wow, they are really going this far just to be something they're not supposed to be. Again, I want to clarify: this is not a personal attack. Please do not take these words out of context or be offended. I really am trying to be as nice as I possibly can because this is because things about gender and sexuality and stuff like that are very touchy subjects. People react very extremely to these topics. But it's just not in God's favor. Like that's not what He envisions us for. That's not what He designed us for.
So Dom, with that basically, because you're speaking especially for yourself, especially being a black king, a young black man. Are you okay with, if you were in the schools? For those that don't know, Dominic is actually homeschooled, but he still has to operate in the real world outside of him being educated at home. Dom, are you okay with men being able to use women's bathrooms, or women being able to go into men's bathrooms if you're in a bathroom stall or you're basically using the bathroom? What are your thoughts on even the bathrooms being more open to different genders based off of which bathroom or which gender you approve of? That's the bathroom that you should use. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that this is actually very dangerous because and I do believe that there are some extra steps that are needed, but I do believe that it is very possible for a man to say, "I identify as a woman," so that he can freely access the women's bathroom for his own pleasure. Same thing for a woman; she could say that I identify as a man and freely access the men's bathroom for her own pleasures, because contrary to popular belief, women can assault others. But yes, I do believe that this is very wrong. Even if there were procedures to prevent stuff like that, I still think that it's very wrong, because no man, no matter what he identifies as, no man should ever have to go inside of a woman's bathroom, even if there were no sexual intent behind it. There's a reason why it's called the women's bathroom. Like, it's for women, not men trying to be women. And again, I'm going to say this every time. Please do not take this out of context. Like, I really am not. I really am not trying to be offensive here, but.
Hey King, you speaking your mind like a black man or any man should. These are definitely hot topics that the teens and the college students are having to really deal with in living it out, versus my generation and even some of your parents' generation have already gone through schooling and already gone through college. And so we're wanting to hear from you, especially as a teen, like, what is your thoughts on this? Because you and we talk about this all the time offline, but many parents that are watching you, Dom, or that are listening on the podcast, They want to know what are you thinking and what are your thoughts behind, especially growing up with Christian beliefs as a teenager in modern day America. But we're going to give you a quick commercial break, Dom, so that we can give and pay homage to our sponsor for this evening. Each and every episode, for those who are just tuning in with us the first time, we highlight a VIP sponsor that is a sponsor for our podcast episodes since season 3. We've been highlighting small business owners and entrepreneurs that are able to literally highlight their business, service, or product to our international podcast audience. And so definitely we are paying homage to our VIP sponsor this evening, which take a look and see who our VIP sponsor is for tonight's episode 190. Take a look while we get Dom a quick commercial break. All right, so our VIP sponsor for this evening is a shout out again to our VIP sponsors for season 4 episodes, goes to none other than Everybody Eats ATL. Everybody Eats ATL is our VIP sponsor for this evening. Everybody Eats is a nonprofit and also literally an innovative initiative program that is based here out of Atlanta. They have food initiative hubs that they offer educational programs and just showing how to literally grow produce and to grow foods to literally feed your community and feed your family. And so Everybody Eats is their initial concept of starting their organization, led by Sean D'Angelo and also Megan. And so you definitely want to tap into what they are doing. If you're here in the Atlanta community, click the link that's in the comment section to find out how to get plugged in with Everybody Eats ATL and see what are their food initiatives for this upcoming season and any educational programs that you could either learn how to grow and to feed your community and feed your family, and even to volunteer. And so shout out to Everybody Eats ATL for being our VIP sponsor this evening. And so back to you, Dom. We definitely want to continue having you talk to us about when it comes to teens and their identity. We know a lot of teens, they struggle with personal identity, as we talked about last time, that a lot of teens have way more options than what myself and even your mom and also your older family members had when growing up, to really decide who they are or who they want to be or what gender they even want to be named as. And so, like, what do you feel is the biggest issue when it comes to the teen identity crisis that are basically being told or fed by media and also fed by others in what their identity is versus them knowing who they are according to, like you saying, your Christian beliefs or even their personal beliefs? What are your thoughts on what is the biggest issues revolving around identity issues with teens today?
I think there's a reason why teens have these issues in the first place. Now, me personally, I've never had these issues, but a reason why I believe that why teens have these issues is because, like I said, they have to go into adulthood, and they have to decide what form of adulthood they have to choose. Like, because I don't believe that adulthood is just one thing. I think it's multiple things. Like, it's kind of like a company with a bunch of other companies under it. Like, you know how Disney owns things like Fox and Lucasfilms and stuff like that. Like, I think that it's like that. Like, adulthood is just one of many things. Like, it holds many opportunities. Like for Jesus, when he was in his adulthood, I believe that he was a carpenter, or at the very least, he was. As a child, he was working with his parents as a carpenter, and that's why I believe that many teens or just kids in general have these identity crises. But I want to focus on the crisis part of the identity crisis, because here's the thing: if your identity is in Christ, then you're not in crisis. But if your identity is not in Christ, then you are in crisis. Because here's the thing: while all people of all beliefs, even Christian beliefs, have to choose who they want to be in life, there is no. If you are Christian, then you would not be in a crisis, because you are able to pray to God about who you want or need to be. Because, like, God, here's the thing about God: He doesn't just straight up give you an answer. Rather, He gives you hints and allow you to find the answer for yourself. And it's your job to look for that answer. But these people who are not in Christ, they do not have the hints that God delivers to find that answer. So when they and that's a much harder to look. And some teens turn to the media when they are looking for their identity. They turn to the media to tell them who they are. And I believe that that is why Christian, why all these teens are able to are not being who they are supposed to be.
Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up right there, King, is because the media definitely leads and also even controls a lot of minds, especially with the youth. And so that we definitely got to touch on the metaverse. I know you probably heard about it. I think we've talked about it recently when it comes to the way that the younger generation is being raised on social. They're being raised on different mediums that are basically virtual mediums. I know you're a gamer. Most of the teens and even young adults that I know are gamers. And so talk to us about, like, what do you think about the metaverse? Do you agree with it? Do you feel that a lot of teens and also even a lot of young men should be engaged with the metaverse? Do you think it's a trap from the enemy? Do you think that it's good? What are your thoughts, Dom, on the metaverse?
As much as I like the idea behind the metaverse, the things we have been shown to recently just sucks. Like, we have been shown nothing but garbage after garbage after garbage. I'm not saying I'm saying that people should not go to the metaverse. I'm not saying that because the enemy is trying to control us or something like that. I'm saying that because it just sucks. because like here's the thing about the metaverse. The whole point is that you get to live life in a virtual world. Why not just live IRL life? Like, what's the point to living in the virtual version of that life? And I get that that's the whole point of video games, but the way that the metaverse is doing it, nah. Specifically talk about the Facebook metaverse, but um, yeah, but just it just does not look appealing to me, at least. Like, unless they show us something that makes it look like it's actually worth hopping onto. It's just does not look appealing to me, at least.
Yeah, and that's a real conversation, King, that a lot of parents, especially, are going to be having with their teens, with their tweens, or even with their young kids, because they're specifically targeting your generation, those who are still in high school, those who are in college, or those who are in elementary or in middle school grades, because they are literally wanting to teach you how to get into what I call, and what I've told you, the matrix, in a virtual world that is separate from the real world. And so, like, Dom, talk to the parents. Like, what are some things that you feel parents should be talking to their teens about, talking to their youth about, when it comes to media, or having different parameters or different things that are set up so that the kids don't have complete freedom and also complete control to literally do what they want, or to do what thou will. What are your thoughts for parents being able to talk to their kids, or even to lead their kids with not just the metaverse, but just leading them with the freedoms that y'all have in this day and age?
I think that for parents, the conversation would go like this: son, no playing video games until 8. But basically, what I'm trying to say here is you should not allow your kid to spend too much time on the internet, because that can be pretty damaging to the brain. Now I know that there are a lot of benefits to the internet, and if they're, but even those benefits, if they're again, if they're just too stuck on the internet, or if you never teach them how to restrict themselves from the internet, then um, they they might not develop in the way, they might not develop um, in a proper way. I'm not saying that you should like make sure that your kid never be on the internet. I'm just saying that you should, at the very least, monitor how long your kid is on the internet. And also, I also believe that you should tell them to be careful, because the whole point of the internet is that nobody knows who you are, and as such, you can take on any identity. But unfortunately, that can also be very dangerous, as you can pass yourself on, as a 40-year-old man can pass himself on as a 10-year-old child, just to lure in other 10-year-old children. Like, haven't you realized that at least a year or two ago, that there have been all these controversies about these celebrities being caught for doing weird things with internet, with kids on the internet. Like, even now, there are still like celebrities who are being caught for predatory behavior on the internet. I believe that there is a reason to why they think that they could get away with it, because they're anonymous. No one knows who they are. They would never be able to know that it was the celebrity who did that. Stick to the question. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
no, that's a good point right there, King. And that's all about like setting parameters for the youth, not just the teens, but even the youth today. That sometimes some parents give the youth too much freedom or too many freedoms, where there is not a line that's drawn between who's parenting versus who is the child. And so
yeah,
that's a great point that you just made right there, King. Is that there
because
has to be lines. Go ahead.
uh, because like with things like Coco Melon and all these kid channels on YouTube, they are just mass produced trash that are teaching our kids the most worthless things in the worst way possible. And there are literally parents that are literally um, giving their kids an iPad, telling little Timmy here, hey, you can give your kid you can play video games on the iPad, and then they just leave them off for the internet to take care of their children for them. Like there are literally parents who are letting the internet raise their kids for them, and letting the internet raise kids raise your own kids. It's like driving at 200 mile per hour in a densely populated area, thinking that you're not going to hit anyone or crash. Like that's just does not make sense.
You dropping a ton of jewels right there, King.
Hmm.
Definitely, you are hitting the nail on the head. You are literally dropping those jewels this evening. Y'all are definitely hearing from King Dominic Bessant, who is talking to us about what does it mean to be a Black Christian teen in America. And so, Dom, I know before we get you out of here in 1 second, we have to talk to you about moving the needle forward. We have discussed since we've met the importance of having mentorship and also having coaches and guides to not just show you who as a young man or as a young teen how to move and how to operate, but even showing and also leading you into staying on that narrow path and to not being a part of the world. And so, like, talk to us, Dom, about the importance of having a mentor or a coach, not even just outside of myself being one of your mentors and even big brothers, but why do teens especially need to have solid coaches, mentors, and also guides so that they don't fall victim to being a part of the world versus being down that straight and narrow path as a Christian teen?
I think that it's important because, well, teens are impressionable. Like, they take a lot of things at face value, especially in these times. So I think that it's important to have mentors and guides so that they can follow the right path and keep them on the right track. Because if they don't have them, then at some point or another, they're going to veer off the wrong track, and and they're going to like they're going to um they're going to go to the wrong places. Like they're going to walk on the wrong roads instead of the right one. They're going to walk into traps, and just they're going to they're going to get and they're going to suffer from consequences that never would have happened if they just had someone that told them straight up. hey, you do this, then you're going to get punished for it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what, and with you specifically, you've been teaching me how to do things like Uber Eats or like food delivery jobs,
Mm-hmm.
because like you've been teaching me how to make list of foods that people have been ordering. You've been teaching me how to remember where I'm going without the need of a GPS. Like you've been teaching me how to how to live. You've been teaching me how to do a job that is otherwise that is pretty easy, but could easily be screwed up by someone without the right guidance.
Yeah, no, that's real. And then you've even come to the king's breakfasts and the men's breakfasts and seeing how other men operate, especially single and married men too.
Mhm.
So yeah, you've been around those environments to learn and to be soaking up like a sponge how to operate as a man and how to operate as a king. But I know we had a quick question for you, Dom, before we let you go. You're dropping a ton of jewels too. We wanted to get in one question from the audience for you. Thank you for all of those who have been giving Dominic some support for tonight's episode 190, coming from how to be a Black Christian teen in America. Shout out to you all who are listening and also who are tuning in this evening. But Dom, do you see the question for you on the screen? It says
Um,
as a young teenager in this generation, do you believe the internet and technology has prevented you from having a solid social skills or solid social skills? And that's coming from Midnight Prayer Watch, one of our partners for the RTJ show. What do you think with that question, Dom?
um, for me personally, it has not hindered my social skills. Like I'm still a very talkable person. I, I am very communicative. While I don't really necessarily go out to talk to people, while I am being talked to, I am very good at communication. But I can definitely see how it can, for again a young impressionable teenager, how it can hinder their social skills. I still believe that it is very important to stop going on Snapchat and start talking to people in the real life.
Yeah, that's good. That's good right there to get off of social and get out of the metaverse and to be able
Mhm.
to interact with people in real life. That's always a good protocol, like Dom is saying. And so, Dom, you know how we get down for the RTJ show. We always allow you as our guests to leave a final jewel of wisdom, a final jewel for thought. We've talked about your faith in being a Christian Black teen in America. We've talked about your perspective on the gender crisis, the identity crisis of teens in modern day America. What would you want to leave as a final jewel of wisdom to the audience tonight, King?
Um, I would like to say I would like to say I would like to say to all the teenagers that people are going to offer you a lot of things, some good, some bad. But regardless, you are going to be tempted by a lot of things that life is going to offer you. And as you get older, you have to you have to basically find out. You basically have to realize one way or another that this is of the things that are trying to push you forward in life, and the things that are trying to pull you down. And I would also like to say subscribe to PewDiePie.
I like that. I like that, King. I like that. And then just finally too, Dom, because I know you are definitely a praying man. If you wouldn't mind praying over those parents and even those teens, or even any of our listeners on the podcast that maybe when it comes to finding the best way to raise their teens, whether they are a believer or not, but just finding a productive or positive way to raise their teens in modern day America. Can you say a quick prayer over our audience this evening, King, before we let you go?
Absolutely. God, I pray that all the parents around the world will be able to be active in their teenagers' life. I pray that there will be good representations and role models for what their child should strive to be. And I pray that they are able to give them the proper guidance to be the best person that they can be in the future. And for the teenagers, I pray that you learn what your parents try to teach you. I pray that you grow, and I pray that you are able to make it successful. And I also pray for both that you find a strong connection in Christ. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, King. I like that. Tell them how they can follow you, Dom, how they can support you on your YouTube creator journey, or even if they have any questions for you, since I know you're building up your channel and also your creator business. Like, talk to the people real quick before we let you go.
So basically I'm trying to start my YouTube journny, and my channel name is DJems. The D stands for Dominic, and the Gem stands for the show, Run the Jewelz. It is themed of jewelry. So my name is DJems, that DGEMS, no spacing. And basically I'm gonna play a lot of video games, all types of video games actually. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna try to. I'm also gonna do, occasionally do like skits and comedy, and I'm basically trying to. I'm basically going to do things that that you guys would like for me to do. Like, if you guys want me to like react to some videos, I could do that. If you guys would like for me to play a certain video game, I could do that. Like, just I just yeah, basically that's it.
No, I love it, King. Y'all give Dominic some hand claps, some jewels, some hearts in the comments. Give him some inspiration and encouragement. I've been talking to Dom since I met him about being a creator versus a consumer, or being a producer versus being a consumer. And so it's all love and also inspiration when you hear some of the youth that are actually trying to put their brand together at such a young age, when many of us adults may even struggle with our branding or with our careers. And so thank you all for tuning in. If this has blessed you in any way, shape, or form, feel free to sow a seed with us. There's 3 ways to sow. You can Cash App us at $SMART, SMART, JEWELZ. Or you can literally become a monthly Patreon subscriber to our RTJ podcast show by clicking the link that's in the comment section. No seed is too small or too large. This goes back into our business for the RTJ show, and literally purchasing equipment and purchasing quality programming like the platform StreamYard that we're using this evening to live stream to you all. And so thank you all for tuning in. Dom, I'll see you soon, King. It's been a pleasure serving with you. I'm proud of you. I give you a King salute, and definitely enjoy the rest of the week, King.
All right. Peace.
All right, man. Love you, King. Peace. All right, y'all. I'm going to just give some quick jewels for thought. Shout out again to all the parents that are out there that are doing their job as being the parents, being the lead, being those individuals that are covering our youth, because I work with youth from elementary all the way up to high school. And a lot of the youth are actually leading the household. A lot of the youth are actually parenting their parents. And so for those parents who put their foot down, those parents who are setting up parameters, are getting their teens, especially in programs that are positively guiding our youth, and also keeping them with inspiration and faith, especially for those who are believers. I give y'all kudos and more power to you all. But let's take a look and see really quick what are some of our jewels that we are dropping with services that we provide for the RTJ show throughout the rest of this season, you all. And so let's take a look really quick and informing you about what we do here with the RTJ show, which is ultimately powered by Smart Jewelz Enterprises. And so take a look with me. And so it is time to start your podcast this season, you all. If you are sitting on the sidelines, if you are someone that has a creative product, a show, a podcast that you want to launch to your audience, or even let us help make your show more professional, and also let us help make your show become a reality. And so for those podcasters or those live streamers that are sitting on the sidelines, this is your time to get off the sidelines and shine. So you can visit www.smart enterprises.org in order to sign up for a free consultation and discovery session to make your podcast or your live show a reality. Also, we have services that we provide for financial freedom. And so if you are someone that is struggling with your finances right now, or you just want to be financially free, sign up for one of our financial freedom classes that we have coming up this spring, and also sign up for our financial freedom coaching by going to www.smartjewelzenterprises.org. That's www.smartjewelzenterprises.org. And finally, next week, you are in for a treat. We're definitely going to be diving in all the way with my very special guest. So shout out again to my very special guest, Kenneth Ford, who is coming to the RTJ show to talk to us about Black veganism in 2022. And so shout out to Kenneth Ford, who's going to be talking about Black veganism in 2022, whether you've thought about it, whether you are on the fence with it. Hopefully you'll be able to be informed and to also be educated and knowing the process of if those individuals are wanting to make a change in their health and wellness. Black veganism is a shoe-in and is also sure possibility to get there. And so stay tuned next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and also on YouTube for our live show audience. If you are wanting to find out about Black veganism in 2022. And so my name is Julian Smartrimple, King Jewelz again. Those are all of my jewels for thought. Make sure you're shining bright like the bright diamond jewel you've been created to be, because someone that is watching you needs to feel the light and also be able to sense the presence of the light that is within you in order to come out of their darkness or to come out of their dark pit that they may be trapped in. And so never be afraid to open your mouth like a king or a queen should, to share your light with others, and to not be afraid to share your light, and to also not be selfish with the light, because we've all been given a light to shine. Only some choose to shine brighter than others. And so we'll see you all next week. RTJ season 4 is here, you all. And so stay tuned and definitely share this content. Subscribe to us on all podcast platforms by searching the Run the Jewelz podcast. Peace.